All right, let's bring in a former Border Patrol agent who pursued coyote migrant smugglers on a daily basis and current Terrell County, Texas Sheriff Thad Cleveland. Sheriff Cleveland, thank you so much for some of your time. So you just heard that report there from Rich McHugh. There's a question on a lot of people's minds here. Do you think this was a fundraiser that was accidental, maybe a misunderstanding, or do you think it was potentially something more serious?
No, definitely what you pointed on there at the end, something more serious. It's absurd to think that a teacher or an administrator within a school would solicit something like this. I myself used to be on the school board. I was our school board president. And to think that a teacher that's highly trained to be able to pick out people that are being trafficked, whether it's from out of our country or within our country, to be able to identify children at risk and to send out an email like this is just mind-blowing.
And, and Sheriff, we want to highlight again, you spent parts of your career trying to track down these coyote smugglers. What have you learned about them that you want our viewers to know?
Yes, ma'am. And to be honest, so I spent 26 years with the United States Border Patrol. The last 11 years as the patrol agent in charge of my hometown here in Terrell County, Sanderson. As the county sheriff, I'm still doing that same job. Smugglers, coyotes as they're known, also known as polleros, they're ruthless. They will do whatever it takes to cross whoever they can, and they'll leave behind anybody who can't make the journey. This last year, within a 6-month time frame, I myself put 13 people in body bags that died to the exposure from the sun out in our hot desert. So they're ruthless.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go back to this letter that was sent out. You yourself described them as ruthless. This administrator now on leave for trying to help raise money. What happens if these coyotes are not paid off?
So if the coyotes aren't paid off, then definitely. Families back in their home countries, whether it's Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, anywhere in the world, they could become targets, as well as family members here in the United States. They may be targets as well by the cartels. So it's all about, bottom line is the American dollar, paid to be smuggled into the United States. I also want to touch on these networks are just throughout America, from the East Coast to the West Coast, any major city, any suburb. The cartels have reach into our country.
And that takes me to my next question, Sheriff. How are officials supposed to handle this type of infiltration? I mean, you said it's from coast to coast, from one border all the way up to our northern border.
It starts in the White House. We haven't seen the border this out of control other than the last 2 years. It starts in the White House, the message from the president. And then from that point, we need to bring back consequences at our border. We need to start prosecuting people who enter our country illegally. We need to bring back certain programs, MPP, migrant protection protocols. We have the ability, we have the technology, we have the communication and coordination within law enforcement to shut this down. We just have to start it at our top leadership in the White House.
Sheriff, what do you think is the most common misconception Americans may have about cartels?
I don't know that they have a misconception about cartels, but those who are crossing our border illegally are breaking the law as soon as they cross our border. They're looking to come to our country to work. They're not looking to come to settle and to live here. They want to be able to make American dollars, send it back home, and not just people, but the cartels are also smuggling dangerous drugs such as fentanyl. And as we've seen, fentanyl poisonings continue to increase throughout our country. So it's time that we get serious about our border and border security. And if we don't do something soon, we're going to pay consequences long term down the road.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.